everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a very good weekend. I am very cold. I'm also very tired. I don't know why. It feels like I've been hit by a brick of tiredness this week. My heart has been playing up. I had very low heart rate over the weekend. It was like 30, 40 beats per minute at times. And I always have a couple of days after that where I just cannot get warm. And that is one of today's. That's one of today's feelings. It is cold. It's like 1 or 2 degrees above freezing. And there might be some snow on the way. It was supposed to be raining right now and it isn't, which is why I'm out here filming the chicken and garden on Sunday, because I thought I was going to have to film this in the rain. But anyway, no progress on the parsnips. They haven't come up yet, but that's normal because parsnips normally take a good couple of weeks, sometimes as much as a month to poke out of the ground. No action there, but that's okay because, as I said, it's very cold. Sorry, I've got a lovely woolen hat on and it's a bit itchy for some reason. So, yeah, it's making my head itch. I think it's because I went from a warm inside to a cold outside and now I'm cold. Anyway, we've got some volunteer parsnips over here. This is exactly what happened last year, right? We had parsnips in the ground that kind of stopped growing, and then January, February, they start coming up again. So at some point I'm going to have to, turf these out and hope that I can get the soil ready. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here this year. I was thinking about maybe putting some potatoes in, or maybe putting carrots in. I know this is something that is a good place because I don't have to worry about gophers, I don't have to worry about moles, I don't have to worry about carrot flying things because they can't get over the top of the tub. So I think maybe that's what I'm going to put in here. I know the ground is still muddy and horrible and it's just not good. But hey, look, my lilac is still thinking about doing a lilac-y things. So I'm very excited. I think we might soon start to see some significant growth in the lilac. Over here, past my dead Alberta Conica, I don't know why this one died. This one's doing great. This one's doing great. This one from a couple of years ago has stopped growing, and I'm still seeing some green evidence of life. So I'm going to give it a little bit more to see if it actually starts putting up fresh shoots. It may do. I don't think it will. But over here you can see we've finally got some rhubarb coming out, which is lovely. And rhubarb is always a lovely taste. I like rhubarb. It is an acquired taste. I know a lot of people over here don't like it, but I do. So, na. I am a little concerned as I go over towards my apple trees, which I haven't started to work on yet. You'll notice they're starting to think about flowering, and we've had some warm weather and then we had some cold weather and then we had some more warm weather, and I'm very worried that they are gonna get damaged like they were a couple of years ago and stop doing things. The cherry trees, again, look at this. We've got some growth on the cherry trees starting to bud up. Bit early. It is a bit early still. So we'll have to wait and see. In the garden itself, though, we've got so much mud. It's been so wet. I don't think I've ever seen our garden this muddy, and we've lived here now since 2019, and the mud is just horrible to deal with. As I'm sure many of you know, the mud is also the reason why I hurt my knee a couple of weeks back. So I'm walking very, very carefully. If I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at where I'm going. That is the reason why. The dogs obviously come out here and they play fetch and they play ball. But it has meant that a lot of the grass is now churned up. And I am considering putting some clover and some other cover crops in there rather than seeding it with fresh grass seed, because that's a more sustainable thing. I've got some vetch or veach. Not sure how you pronounce it, because I've heard people pronounce it both ways, that I'm going to be putting just here as a cover crop, and hopefully that will eventually be good for the chickens. But the chickens are doing great. They're really enjoying the chance of getting out, and I think they've now all finished molting and everything. So we're starting to see more eggs as they get more sunlight. Chickens really need lots of daylight as part of the egg making process even. So they've been doing very well there. But I have been busy in the back garden, which is why we're walking over here now. Let me show you a freshly prepared bed. Now, many of you will go, Nikki, you're talking about snow, you're talking about frost. Why have you done the planting? Well, you can't tell this, but based on where I am right now, it's actually a lot warmer than when it was at the front of the house. That's because we've got a bit of a windbreak from the greenhouse. We've got a windbreak from that hedge. We've got a windbreak from the forest, and then we've got a windbreak from the forest. So this is in a little corner, and it's noticeably warmer here. We had an overnight frost, and the ground was covered in frost, but back here it wasn't, and I think I'm going to succeed here. So let's talk about what I've put in here, because I've been putting some early crops in. So we've got some beet, we've got some broad beans, fava beans, they're here, and then over there I've got some lettuce, I've got some coriander or cilantro, depending on which way you want to talk about it. The beans are fava/broad beans. They've got two different names depending on which side of the Atlantic you are in. I don't know if Canadians call them broad beans or fava beans. I'll have to ask a Canadian friend and see what they say. But I've also put, as I said, some cilantro, coriander. I've got some lettuce. I've got some red beet. And there's something else in here that I forgot. I put some dill in. Now, all of these plants are companion plants and should work well with the beans. So the beans produce... they're very good at fixing nitrogen into the soil. This particular plot didn't have a lot of nitrogen last year, so I'm hoping that growing the fava beans here will help. Fava beans don't need a huge amount of direct sunlight. In fact, they prefer not to have a huge amount of direct sunlight, so I'm hoping that I'll get a really good bumper crop there and everything will be cool and chill. Nothing has popped up yet. I mean, I only planted these like 4 or 5 days ago, so it's going to be another couple of weeks before we see any significant growth. But over here, so happy to say, look at the garlic. It is coming up out of the ground. The garlic is growing perfectly. And if you grow garlic, I cannot emphasize how awesome this mulching is. This is a heavy straw mulch. You can see I've moved some of it here. I was showing my mum earlier how effective it was. The straw mulch helps prevent frost from getting to the soil, so it keeps the soil nice and warm, but it also traps a layer of moisture. The decomposition of the straw when it's moist and wet helps provide extra heat because the decomposition process provides heat. And see, I've got my own heated bed here, and the temperature underneath the straw is substantially warmer. And you can see how cold it is. My hands are kind of red, cold red. You can see how much straw there is, and probably in about a month and a half's time, I will take this straw, I will dump this straw into the compost heap, where it will continue to help with the decomposition process of the compost in the compost heap. And then we'll have some lovely, rich soil with minimal weeds that the garlic can grow through. And I may go back and put other plants in between the garlic. I need to do some more research there, because alliums, of which garlic and onions are part of, they have particular companion plants that they like and ones they don't. So we'll have to see what goes where. I haven't planted any more herbs, although I plan to soon. Hopefully by the next time you see me, if the weather's not too bad this coming weekend, I'm going to work on clearing this bed, which was... I can't remember what that was last year. That was actually the broad beans and some other stuff last year. I will clear that out. I also need to clear out where the beet was last year, and I need to clean out where the onions were last year. I also need to come in here and clean out the sprouts because they died off, and get rid of the leeks, and hopefully my rosemary will start growing again. There are some green shoots coming back on the rosemary, so I'm leaving it. It's not dead. It's just that cold weather really, that ice storm really did a number on the rosemary. It did the same to the sage that we've got over there. So we'll see what happens. Now, a friend in the UK, a former student of mine, already has flowers on her blueberry bush, which I'm very jealous of. But you can see here, we've got some blueberry budding happening. So hopefully, this is the second year these blueberries have been in. Hopefully, I need to build like a trellis or something for it to climb up. But hopefully we'll see some blueberry action later this year. And I also sat down last weekend and I went through my seeds and I figured out what needed to go in when and why. And because the greenhouse, let me show you in the greenhouse. It is substantially warmer in the greenhouse. I am so pleased at how well this greenhouse survived the winter. Now, I haven't tested the soil temperature in here, but you can see the soil is nice and moist, right? Check this out. Look at all this moisture, all this rich soil right here, right underground, ready for action. This hasn't been watered all winter, but look at that lovely, rich, nutrient-rich soil. That soil is, I think, at the minimum temperature already for planting some of our more hardy tomato breeds and maybe some of our more hardy cucumber breeds. But I am going to wait probably another couple of weeks until the weather gets a little bit warmer, we get a little bit more sunlight. Obviously, this structure really benefits from sunlight. It really helps bring the temperature up. But as a windbreak, it is so much warmer in here. Like, we're talking a good 10 degrees Celsius warmer in here than it is outside. And we don't even have a full door yet. So just having, as you know, heat rises, right? Cold air sinks, heat rises. So we've got this lovely heat dome effect in top here, aided by that door at that far end, which prevents the through draft. And it's so much warmer. It actually reminds me of some of the barns that I remember from growing up. You'd go in the barn in the winter if you were outside in the field and it was really cold. And you had to go into the barn to get some straw or some hay. That was the treat, because it was a lot warmer in there than it was anywhere else. Anyway, there will be more planting this coming weekend. As I say, I'm hoping to put some peas in and some other things. And as usual, tell me what you're doing in your garden, because things are starting to wake up in the Northern Hemisphere. And in the Southern Hemisphere, how is your harvest going? I'm sure that your harvest is doing wonderful things. We don't have any fresh eggs today. The chickens have not been laying very much lately. As chickens get older, they do lay less. They will continue laying until like they're 8-9 years old. They do lay less frequently. And my oldest hens are now 4 years old, and my youngest are 2-3 years old. So they're all getting to that point now where they're like, I'm just going to chill out a little bit more. I can't blame them. So tell me about your garden in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling right by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel every month through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure that we can remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just under $11 a year. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Carl B. Knapp, Stoyle Pankoff, Smithers, John Strott, Kelly, Joseph Valentinetti, John Flint, and Nate Fritz. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. The address is also below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store also in the down below. This month, we're campaigning for an end to charging deserts with an amazing new t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator, Erin. Get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store.
We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll enjoy this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.